Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we'll discuss the ammunition design. That means what are various components within the cartridge, and its understanding is very necessary for us because every element is going to translate onto the human tissue. So we should understand what are various components within the cartridges, what are the various ammunition designs, and how it affects into wound ballistics for which we are concerned with. So please watch this video lecture, and I request you all that if you like it, please subscribe and share with other colleagues and the students. And if you find any error and omission, please do let me know. Inbox me or write in the comments, because I think this is my humble service to the subject. And as I am a little student of forensic medicine, there may be some errors. So I beforehand accept them. But again, I offer that please do let me know if you find any difficulty. So this is my second lecture of the series of firearms on the components of various uh, designs and components of various ammunitions. Okay, please watch it. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Professor Javed Iqbal Kokar, Professor and Head of Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology Department, CMH Lahore Medical College. So we'll discuss the basic ammunition design of various ammunitions which are used in the firearm weapons. The design basically for both type of weapons, whether they are rifled or smoothbore, it has got a cartridge case. Cartridge case is basically an casing or which includes the components of the ammunition. At the base, there is a primer. Primer is a place where the firing pin strikes, and primer is going to ignite first. And then it lifts up the anvil and the flame enters into the main chamber where the gunpowder is placed. So every ammunition at the base, there is a primer, and in front of it is main powder charge. And the powder charge, which is the gunpowder main, may be either smoked, which is black gunpowder, or smokeless. Then in smoothbore weapons, there is also a very characteristic and special thing which is known as wad. It may be of plastic type or cardboard type, and it is a disc shape placed behind the pellets and in front of the pellets. These wads travel within the barrel like piston, and they make the pellets to remain compact for longer distance when they exit the barrel. So wads are basically in smoothbore weapons. And then the main charge, the short charge, which is bullet in case of rifled weapons, and pellets or lead shots in case of smoothbore weapons. So this is the design of a smoothbore cartridge, and at the base you can see the metallic base. There is a primer in the center, and in the front, on the front of it, there is main powder charge, main gunpowder. and there is a wad behind the pellets, and there is sometimes a wad in front of the pellets. So this is the design of diagrammatic representation of a design of a smoothbore cartridge. Whereas for rifled cartridge on the right, there is a bullet. Instead of pellets, there is a bullet. The shape may be different. It may be rounded tip or conical tip, and wad is not here. So only there is a base having a primer, and in front of primer there is a gunpowder, and then the bullet which is going to exit. So these are the main differences between the smoothbore cartridge and the rifled cartridge. Now about the cartridge case. The cartridge and the bullet both. The cartridge case is the outer shell or the covering of the cartridge, and it keeps all the components of the cartridge in one place. And it provides a waterproof cover which help proper preservation of the contents. Regarding the cartridge cases of the smoothbore, they are made up of either cardboard or plastic. And the bullet cases which are used in rifled weapons are made up from various alloys like brass, where 70% is copper and 30% zinc. A few have a nickel coating, sometimes lead and antimony, and with various formulation having a ferrous alloy core also. So various combination of various metals have been used for making bullet cases. Then the primer case. The primer is the main ingredient where the firing pin strikes. And in both smoothbore and rifled weapon, the primer cases are of similar composition, copper and zinc. And the bullet jackets, this is other mechanism which we have already talked about in the first lecture. As the lead is a rough metal, and it to make it smooth, various alloys of various metals like 90% copper and 10% zinc with other metallic combinations, they are jacketed. That means the lead bullet has been covered with a fine layer of another alloy of metals to make its surface smooth. That is known as jacketing, the bullet jacket, to make the surface of the bullet smooth. So what is bullet jacketing? Bullet jacketing is, as I have told you that lead is a rough metal, and to make it fine and smooth, to offer less resistance in the air, the surface is covered with an alloy of other metal like nickel and brass to make its surface smooth. This is an X-ray which is showing that a jacket has been removed by passing the bullet through the bone, just to give an idea that jacket is also a layer which is covering the lead bullet, and it sometimes after entering through the bullet can be separated. So this is the design of a common bullet case, bullet cartridge. At the base is the primer, and in front of it is gunpowder, and the projectile is in the foremost. This is another diagrammatic representation showing the bullet case. So, what is in the primer cap, primer case? The percussion cap, when it strikes at the primer cap, the primer, it detonates. So it is a small material, detonating material, which is placed in the primer cap, and when the firing pin strikes at the primer cap, it detonates. And this is the most important component of the cartridge, because the primers translate the mechanical impact into chemical energy. Various compositions of the primer have been used, like the lead, barium, or antimony. These are the major components, but to small composition, there may be aluminum, sulfur, tin, calcium, potassium, chloride, or silicon. So these are various compositions of primer. And this is an other combination of primer elements. So this is the base cap, and you can see the primer cap in which this primer has been placed. This is a closer view. On the left side is the magnified view. You can see the primer, and there is a flash hole. After igniting the primer, through the flash hole, the flame enters into the cartridge case where the main gunpowder is placed. And this anvil is lifted up by the combustion of the primer, and through the flash hole, the flame enters into the gunpowder. Now, something about the powder charge, our main detonating material, which is responsible for explosion. So, the powder charge or the gunpowder, it may be a black gunpowder, which is normally called as smoked, and consists of potassium, nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal, and the other is smokeless. Smokeless, which contains nitrocellulose or nitroglycerin, and it creates a smokeless combustion. And it has been experimentally seen that 1 gram of powder charge produces approximately 800 to 900 milliliters of gases. So small amount of gunpowder can produce huge amount of gases, which creates tremendous energy and pressure to push the bullet out. So the powder charge in smokeless, it is mainly the nitrocellulose or nitroglycerin. And it has been seen that another compound, diphenylamine, has been used in the gunpowder. Now something about talk about the weights. The weights are generally used in the smoothbore cartridges or shotgun cartridges, and it may be made up of cardboard or any hard paper, and this weight is air cushion type, and the other it may be made up of plastic, and this is the power piston type. The functions of weight are basically that It separates the projectile from the propellant. It seals the bore effectively, and it prevents expansion of gases from escaping. And it allows sufficient pressure to develop so that the charge can be pushed forward. So these are the functions of the weights which are used in smoothbore weapons. Now the projectiles. Projectile is the main propellant in the smoothbore. They are pellets, and in rifled weapons they are the cartridges. So the projectiles consist of bullets in the rifled weapon and lead shots, pellets, plugs in the shotguns, which are smoothbore weapons. The bullet, it is made up of lead. Usually it is made up of lead, and it may be jacketed, as we have talked about earlier, as the lead is an rough material, coarse surface. To make it smooth, to make it polished, to offer less resistance in the air, it has been jacketed. That is, it has been dipped in alloy of an other material to making its surface smooth. And that alloy can be of copper, nickel, or any other hard material. Now, the shape of the bullet is important. It may be conical, having an acute angle of the tip, or it may be rounded tip. The tip is sharp pointed to ensure that it offers least resistance in the air during its flight. And the tip of the bullet is called nose. It may be pointed, rounded, or flattened. So various types of bullets have been made by various brands. The revolvers and pistol, in the revolvers and pistol, the bullet is usually short and with the nose which is rounded or oval. While in rifles, the bullet is elongated and with the nose, pointed nose. And sometimes the exposed lead tip of the bullet, there is a hole in the nose. And during that hole, the air during the flight enters and the bullet expands into mushroom shape, a flower shaped, which causes a tremendous damage. And these are banned. I just now show you a short video which will explain how the tip of the bullets in some brands is hollow, and during its flights, the bullet expands, mushrooms like a flower, and produce tremendous damage.
In the final moments of the hunt, success depends on how well your bullet performs. The bullet must be well placed, open instantly on impact, creating massive hydraulic shock and tissue destruction, while shattering heavy bone. We decided to see for ourselves just how fast our bullets expand. We fired our .30 caliber Triple Shock X and Maximum Range X bullets into ballistics gelatin. Impact velocity was 2,200 feet per second, simulating a bullet hitting game at 400 yards. Triple shock bullets have a specially engineered nose cavity that instantly reacts to hydraulic pressure.
So this was a bullet which has having hollow tip and which expands during the flight. So these are various shapes of the bullets used in handguns and rifles. You can see some are short with the rounded tips and some are long and having conical and sharp pointed tips or the nose. And this is the design of smoothbore cartridge. You can look at the metallic base, and the main cartridge is of cardboard, which is uh, paper or plastic. And these are on the left, these are the metallic pieces. And on the left upper corner, there is a disc. This is the wad, which is used in smoothbore weapon. So this is all about the ammunition design, which is important for us to understand because all the components of the cartridge, they are going to affect the wound ballistics. So thank you very much. If you like this, please subscribe and share with other students and colleagues. Allah Hafiz.